Hi, Amy of Fashion Toppings with a quick little sewing tip and refashioning idea. Well, on my last thrift haul, you knew I was really excited about getting my French Connection shorts. But here's the thing. Look at how long, I have one side cuffed how short I'd wear it. The other side is the way it came. And I took a picture too. See how long they are? See, I've got my short side and my long side. Well, the problem is I didn't want to cut length off these pants. They're linen. So what I decided to do was just roll them up. So I take my actual hem, which is pretty wide. It's about 1 inch wide. And I would just keep rolling them just right on the hem and then roll them again. Well, here's the problem with that. Yeah, it's nice and easy. Doesn't look very nice. But throughout the day, it was starting to unroll, and I'd have one side starting to unravel, the other side was up. I had to keep re-rolling them. So I tried ironing them, thinking, okay, I'll fold them, and then I'll iron it, and it'll stay. Still wasn't enough. So for those of you who have long shorts, and you don't want to have to cut off the material, or even if you have, let's say, long khakis, and you want to cut them into capris, this is a nice way to hide your hem work. So what I did is I started on this side already. I'm working, my shorts are inside right, just the way I'd wear them. I decided how thick of a cuff I wanted. And so I used my current hem allowance, how wide my hem was. And then I just folded them up. So there's 1, 2, I'm taking a lot of length off. Look at all those folds, 3 folds. So what I did is I fold my first row. I ironed it nice crisp so that it would stay nice, clean. All my edges are flat. And you need to make sure, and here I'm going to show you, hopefully you can see this with this color material. Okay. Now, I think you'll be able to see it. Okay, you can see my seam allowance right here, or my side seam. My side seam is right here. There's a stripe. I matched it up with the inner leg side seam. So when I'm folding, my side seam on my cuff is matching up exactly with the side seam on the side of the shorts, and also on the inseam. Do the exact same thing. Make sure your side seams, as you're folding, match up exactly. So on each fold once, iron it nice and crisp. Fold it again, and then iron it so it's nice and crisp. You can see how nice and crisp mine are. And then I'm going to do one more. And then however high you're going to do your shorts. I actually folded mine, I think, 4 times. And then you iron it, making sure that all of your edges, this bottom edge and this top edge on both all the way around, is nice and crisp. So that's what we're going to do. Making sure our side seams match up. Oops. I'm doing a little demonstration there. Watching my side seam. There we go. Now, to hold your side seams in place so they don't move, because you want your side seams to stay matched up. Of course, I use white. I'm working on white shorts, and so what do I do to show you? White pins. So let me put an orange pin in there. There. So I made sure my side seams were in a straight line all the way down, and even on the cuff, it all matches up. And I just put a little safety pin in there to hold it into place. And I'm going to do the same to the inner seam. Pick a color that you can see, and strings. And then pin that side seam in place so that matches up. So now nothing's going to move around. Now there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can do a permanent way where, you're going to keep them cuffed and they're going to stay cuffed and you won't be uncuffing them. And then there's a temporary way where maybe, during the fall you might want to lengthen them a little bit. Instead of being above the knee, you want them to be below the knee or whatever. There is a temporary way to do it too. Now the temporary way is sewing's involved. You can either hand stitch this or you can take it to your sewing machine. I'll be taking mine to the sewing machine. So the temporary way is your side seam and your other side seam that's between the inside seam and the outside seam of your leg. What you're going to do is you're going to take it to the sewing machine, and right where I have that needle, okay, and the pin, you can see where the pin is, All you're going to do is take it to your sewing machine and you're going to stitch. Just, here's my cuff. You're going to stitch just right above the cuff across the side seam. Now, I would go over it once and then back stitch back over it again so that's nice and tight, and do it the same to this side. Making sure that when you're doing it that you're doing it just up here by the cuff. That'll keep it from coming unrolled. So by putting those two stitches in, the outside seam and the inside seam, that will keep your shorts cuffed. They'll stay into place and they'll look nice and neat. But the trick is you have to make sure you iron each cuff as you're rolling it so it stays nice and clean. Okay, the permanent way of doing it, which I think is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to do it the permanent way. But I'll be using the exact same color thread because of the fact that I love these shorts and I plan on wearing them. So I'm not going to use contrasting thread. You know, sorry. Usually I'll use a thread so you can see it, but I want to be able to wear these and I want them to look professional, so I'm using the same color thread. Now to make it more permanent, what I'm going to do is take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to top stitch. And I'm going to top stitch right along this edge, mostly on the cuff. I'm on the cuff, but I'm as close to the edge as I can get. I'm gonna do a straight stitch all the way around my cuff, completely around my leg. That will keep it into place. And to be more decorative, you can do your straight stitch right along the cuff, and then go back and do a straight stitch right along your edge, and then you'll have two straight stitches. It'll look nice and professional. Nothing will move. It'll look nice and neat. So I'm going to go ahead and take this to the sewing machine real quick, and I'm just going to show you how I did it, and then I'll show them to you when they're done. Okay, real quick, let's go. Okay, I'm starting on my between my inner leg, the inner side seam, and I'm doing the top of my cuff. See, right, top of the cuff, and I'm just stitching as close to the edge as I'm comfortable doing. I'm going to fix my stitch, or you can do a back stitch, and you have to sew very slow over your side seam because there's a lot of material to go through. Okay, making sure you're sewing nice and straight stitch all the way around. Sure everything's staying straight. Back over to my outer side seam, so I have to go slow again because there's a lot. I have 4 folds of material, and I have to go very slow so that my needle doesn't get stuck. Okay, back stitch or your fix button. You will be able to see my thread a little bit because even though I laid it against my shorts, it looked exact. It's not quite exact now that I got it on there. You can see it. Now, doesn't that look professional? My new cuff. You can see I stitched down the cuff all the way around. That'll keep it looking professional. I'm going to go ahead and do, since I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and do the other top stitch and show you just what it'll look like. Just turned out cute, so I'm going to keep going. Back to my inner side seam. Now I'm going to go, I just did my bottom cuff. Now I'm going to top stitch the top edge so that I have stitching on both sides and it'll look nice and neat. And I'm trying to decide where I want my stitch to go. I want it to go right here. I'm going to line it up right on the inner part of my foot. Okay, fix or back stitch. Okay, slowly over the side seam through all that thick material. Yes, went over it, no problems. keep sewing all the way around. Okay, I'm at the end, fix my stitch. And I'm done. Okay, so I did that entire cuff, and my shorts were inside right the entire time. I want to show you how nice and neat this looks. And I'm going to go ahead and then do it to the other leg. Change my lighting so I don't have too much shine on here. Okay. See the two stitching lines? I got the stitch along my cuff. I got that stitch all along there. And then I went back along the top. Oopsie. Back along the top. You can see I did a top stitch. So I have two stitching lines now on the cuff of my shorts. And it'll look nice and neat and professional when I wear them. So now I have, now it looks like my shorts came with those cuffs. They look nice and neat. You can, and I'm going to do the other leg next. But you can do the same concept, like I said, if you have long, like khaki pants, and you really want to make them into capris for the summer, or for the fall, either way. But you can cut your pants off, a little ways, and then roll cuffs into them, like roll them twice so it's nice and thick and sturdy. So roll it twice, iron it each time you roll it so that all your edges are crisp. And then, here, I'll show you in here. So pretend this is the bottom of your full-length pants. This is your hem at your full-length pants. What you can do is, cut off some length, cut off about to here. So then you are working with raw edges. And if it's going to fray, you can zigzag along the edges because you're not going to see it anyway. So cut your pants off. Now pretend this is where I cut it off at. And then just roll it. So each time you roll it once. Iron, you have to iron. Roll it again. And then iron it. And making sure your side seams match up. Iron it between each fold every time you do that until you get it to the desired length. And then just do the top stitching like I showed you. You'll have a professional looking cuff. I mean, I have to admit, that looks like I bought it at the store that way. And now I have the shorts at the length I want them, and they're not going to come unrolled, and they're going to stay nice and neat in the wash. Easy, very, very easy. So go ahead and try it. I'm going to finish the other leg, and then I'll take a picture for you. So this is Amy with Fashion Toppings. Until next time, you have a great day.